Hey, my name is Vincent Grey. I am 29 years old. I'm a case manager for Trans Chicago. Yes, I have three cats. I love cats a lot. I'd adopt them all if I could. Um, I'm Puerto Rican and Honduran and based in Chicago. I've been here my whole life. So, yeah, that's me.
Awesome. We always love a cat lover story. So, to start us off, could you tell us what some of your responsibilities are as a case manager at Trans Chicago?
Yeah, so as a case manager, I provide client-centered referrals. So I basically do an assessment of my clients or participants that come in seeking a case manager, and depending on where they are in life and what their services that they're looking for. A couple of examples, I've referred some people with help with housing, applying for insurance, resumes, getting jobs. We have a food pantry too, so if they need that kind of resource, like basically stuff like that. I help with legal name change, gender affirming therapy referrals.
So, are there any particular cases that you really enjoy getting?
Yeah, I think my favorite is when I have someone who's looking to start gender affirming therapy. One, because for me personally, I've only been on T for a year and 2 months now. I came out really late, later than I wanted to, but whatever, life happens. People like that, I'm so excited to kind of be somebody to guide them through, just because in my experience, I kind of had to do it all by myself and didn't really know any other trans people. Oh my god, my cat is meowing in the corner. Stop.
Was there any kind of required education that you needed to have gone through to get this position?
Yeah, actually, they require the organization that Trans Chicago is under is called the Puerto Rican Cultural Center, and so they require a bachelor's or an associate's in human services. In my particular case, I applied not thinking I was going to get it because I didn't graduate college. I just have my high school diploma, and I went in there, shot my shot, and they decided to hire me, I guess, based on outweighing my lived experience over a diploma or something. Who else can help another person going through the same thing apart from another person going through the same thing? So that's really something that I admire, and I'm really glad that I took that shot because, well, here I am.
Yeah, that's so cool. So, what kind of things, outside of a traditional education, do you think educated you to work a position like this?
Well, for me, I've always been the friend to be like, oh, you need this, I'll Google some places, I'll make the appointment for you. So I've always kind of been that person. I mean, that's literally what a case manager does. Basically case manage my friends for free forever. That on top of the person who hired me saw that, I, as a trans man, would be able to relate to these people in a way that the previous person could not. Being Latinx, I think that was an additional intersectionality that they found really valuable. Of me walking in the world as a brown trans man is enough education to last you forever.
So, what's the difference in your current workplace atmosphere compared to other places you've worked?
I worked at a coffee shop for 6 years before I got this job, and it was fine. I mean, it was whatever, but I feel at any moment, I could have been replaced. I didn't have an identity at work. I was just kind of somebody who made you coffee and you're on your way. I wasn't real. Being at Trans Chicago, I realized I could just, and I work with other trans people too. So it's I've never been in, that was my first time ever being in a room full of trans. It was just normal, the way that it should be. And I think the atmosphere of my previous jobs of being kind of concerned of other people judging me, I don't have to do that now because we all understand, we all kind of relate in some way. On top of before it was coffee, and now this is we're helping people. And in Chicago, in the Humboldt Park area, I think the culture is really intense, and so to have a block to be I can walk down here and not be afraid for my life essentially is such a beautiful thing. It kind of feels utopian for me when I go there to work, which sounds weird, right? Yeah, I forgot the question.
No,
I just kept going.
yeah, no, you answered it like that.
Okay.
It is a different environment when so many places are made specifically not to like accommodate us. That's a place
Right.
that is made to accommodate us. And finally, another question that ties into the previous one. When did you realize you wanted to work with other trans people?
I think, and this is gonna sound like really cliche, but I in some way knew that this was for me because I want to be that person that I didn't have growing up. Like I want to be that for other people. I haven't talked to my parents after I came out to them, and they're like really strict and really religious and really, Latinx. And I don't want that. I don't want people to like I didn't know what to do when I didn't have their support because they were all I knew. So I'm like so honored and like elated to be able to have a job that I can be a helping hand to people, especially youth. I think me being rejected made me want to like take care of youth, trans youth.
And in what ways has this kind of work? Well, I guess you touched on this, but in what ways has this kind of work been cathartic for you as a trans man? And maybe in what ways has it been stressful?
It does heal me, my inner child a little bit, a lot. But I think the hardest part for me, the most stressful part, is like at the end of the day, I can give them every resource, I can give them every number, I can give them every opportunity I can find and help them with. But if they don't want it and they don't want to show up, if they don't want to, use them, like I can't force that. And it's so hard because people are so broken down sometimes when they do need services like these, that it's hard to get them to realize that they're worth more than their circumstance. And that's so hard for me to watch because I see somebody and I'm like, you have, like, the world is yours, but also the world like hurt you, and now you don't feel like you're worth these services that I'm offering. I want people to see themselves as valuable as I see them, so that they can take care of themselves when I'm not around.
That was our last, plan question. So now we get a fun little audience question. How do you feel your gender/transness impacts your experience at work?
I was actually the first trans guy hired at Trans Chicago. Before me, there were only trans women, so I like to think that I bring a new perspective to the community that we have there, especially being Latinx, because almost all of us there are Latinx, and I think that added on top of like machismo and like all the things that we learn at a young age, I kind of like rewrite the story for people. Like, no, it doesn't, like, you don't have to follow A, B, and C. Like, I have this water bottle and I think it's so cute, and like I'm not gonna get rid of it, but I feel so weird walking around when there's like another dude looking at me like, why are you drinking from that like pink ass water bottle? And it's like, I want my transness to come through in a way that kids or even adults, like anybody who is struggling to just be themselves, no matter what it is, trans or not, people are going to love you. Like, I think a lot of people are scared to be themselves because they think they're gonna be judged or like unloved, but like there's so many people out there, and you get to make your own family if your biological one is crap. Like, there's more than just the situation you find yourself in, and I think me being a trans really pushes that through.
Thank you so much for coming for the interview today, Vincent. Is there any last words, anything you'd like to plug?
Trans Chicago is actually having a film festival in August. It's at the Trans Chicago Empowerment Center, so if you guys want to come, like, we're gonna have movies, workshops. It's gonna be really, really fun. It's free.
Even better.
Even better.
The only thing I love more than a trans event is a free event.
Yeah. When my cats are fighting. Oh, sorry.